Hello, Debbie DeWitz-Jensen here, sharing with you part 5 of the science and philosophy behind emotional interference patterns and how they affect our lives. Let's take a look at how our intelligence works through the 3 levels of our brain. The hindbrain, also known as the reptilian brain, which I like to call our rapid response team, is concerned with survival. It functions out of the present time only, the here and now, and is responsible for breathing, blood flow, body temperature, autonomic functions, muscle motor movement, etc. And the limbic brain is the seat of our emotions. It's involved in emotional behavior. 85 to 95% of the neuropeptide receptors are located here in the limbic system. It deals with feelings and relationships and is directly linked to the amygdala. And then we have the cortex, the seat of reasoning, our higher reasoning. It has conscious awareness, awareness of future, curiosity, realms of imagination, and is divided into the left and right hemispheres. Now, each hemisphere of our cerebral cortex tends to specialize in and preside over different functions. They process different kinds of information and deal with different kinds of problems. Their left hemisphere, our intellectual scientist, has rigid categories. It's ordered and controlled, logic and reason. It governs language, which is an abstract idea. It loves to work out problems. It sees parts, analyzes, breaks apart. And here we find accountants, system analysts, operation managers. And as we look at the right hemisphere, think of it as more like the ecstatic artist. It's free-spirited, spontaneous, artistic enjoyment, intensity of feeling. It's concerned with recognition and relationships. It sees the big picture, puts together, synthesizes. Here we find architects, designers, and artists. The left hemisphere is not directly linked to the heart, nor intuition, nor feelings. Its brilliant thoughts may lack some of the broader values of thinking that we call intelligence. For when the left takes over and the right hemisphere is off duty, the world lacks insight and value. The left hemisphere tends to treat the right with impatience. The right has rich connections to the lower brains, the limbic and rapid response team. It handles immediate and unlearned or novel experiences, and only when the right hemisphere is well established are these signals passed on to the left. The right hemisphere immediately sees answers to a problem and passes it on instantaneously to the left, but the bureaucrat of the left has to organize its views much more slowly. The ideal state is one closer to a balanced cooperation between the two halves, with the left treating the right as a wise counselor and trusted advisor, rather than the village idiot, and the right treating the left as an essential form maker rather than a boring bean counter. The ideal is where the right is creating new ideas and forms, and the left hemisphere is responsible for turning the inspiration of the right into practical reality. Between the limbic system and the right hemisphere of the cortex, there are ample connections, but far less connections with the left hemisphere. The left and right are not always fully connected. The joiner between them, the corpus callosum, transfers information between the two and acts either as a bridge or a barricade. While our birthright is the natural ability to operate simultaneously out of both hemispheres, life experiences often trigger a dominance of one side over the other when responding to specific situations. The more emotionally charged the experience, the more likely we will automatically over-identify with only one hemisphere when faced with similar life experiences in the future. The whole point here of this brain information is failure to deal with emotions effectively and resolve the repressed and denied emotions at the foundation of our being, acknowledging their value and the role they play, leads to failure in developing the higher mental powers. It creates an unending cycle of breakdowns of signals to the cortex that cannot integrate the information into service. And that leads us back to the heart and its coherency. The heart has been found to have rhythmic beating patterns that can either be coherent or incoherent, and these patterns are closely linked to our emotions and how we feel. When the heart rhythmic beating pattern is smooth and ordered, it is called coherent rhythm, and that entrains the brain, or synchronizes the brain's rhythm, and the nervous system, the organs and the gland systems, and all these come into harmony with the heart's coherency. Feelings of anger, frustration, irritation, and stress throughout our day creates disordered patterns and is called an incoherent rhythm. It all starts with the heart. These signals are being imprinted on the heart's magnetic field. And interference patterns create havoc in our body, mind, spirit. Incoherent, disharmonious patterns in our systems affects our respiration, our heart rate, and our blood pressure. And our lives can feel pretty challenging at times with stress levels a constant companion. By resolving interference patterns, our body, mind, spirit comes into a coherent state, and we literally change what signals get sent to the cortex. Our conscious awareness increases. We experience increased synchronicities in our life and a sense of harmony. Our body chemistry shifts to a healing mode. Dr. Harmer of the New German Biology states that with conflict resolution, it brings on tissue repair and restores the loss of bodily function. Our bodies shift towards healing and a regenerative mode once again. Remember, every change in the psychological state, either conscious or subconscious, is accompanied by an appropriate change in the physiological state. So when making changes in our emotions, we make changes in our biology, either towards decay or towards regeneration. We experience virtually simultaneous effects on several levels: on our perception of the psyche, the function of the brain, the chemistry of the body, blood, and organs, and the resonance of the heart field. Coherent heart rhythms lead to increased heart-brain synchronization. This unified consciousness within our body, mind, spirit communicates your intention with the universal field of all possibility by being a greater, more harmonized, synchronized connection. An intention aligned with coherent heart focus, resonating with the universal field, is vital for creating your experience of reality. Its power is beyond anything previously known to shift our perception of reality stored in the cells stored throughout our body, not just in the brain, but also in our heart, spinal column, gut, and our entire body. Heart coherency is the real key to living the life of your dreams. Unresolved emotions, disempowering beliefs, and our disowned selves all interfere with us at our deepest level, and our heart being in a coherent state. Heart coherency is everything. Roland McCready, the director of research at the Institute of Heart Math, states that coherency is the optimal physiological state that underlines learning and performance and facilitating the body's natural regenerative processes. We always tend to think that our information input system as being entirely in the brain, but we are now discovering that the heart receives information first and then relays it on to the brain. Studies have shown that the heart responds faster than the brain to outside stimulation. Neuropeptides bring us to states of consciousness and alter those states. What this means to us is that our emotions play a vital part in our ability to rewrite our subconsciously held experiences of life. And the good news is, you get to influence these shifts towards wholeness. You have power over the unfoldment of your health and towards regaining your natural blueprint for health. Come learn how to resolve emotional interference patterns and open your heart to greater experience of love in Empowered Transformation's 2-day workshop, where you will revitalize your life force energies. Visit us at www.empoweredtransformations.com.